I'm here to talk about Lake Resources. I'd like to welcome a couple of our shareholders here and all the rest of you future shareholders. So this is a story about lithium. It's great to be here standing out in the watching the kilowatt hours drop onto the panels as the electric buses and taxis run around the City of London. Who would have thought? How are we going with that slide deck, guys? Sign in to do more. Righto. Lake Resources, Australian listed. It's all about 100% lithium in Argentina, and it's all about scale and a value proposition. There's a photo here. I've just got to flick through here. I'm going to be making some fairly forward-looking statements, as I want to do. We have 4 projects. We're not a one-horse pony. We've got 4 projects across Argentina that amount to 170,000 hectares, 3 brine and 1 hard rock. So we are agnostic in our approach to lithium and very aggressive in terms of size and scale. And on our trips in and out of Asia in recent times and early discussions we've had with end users, it's the scale that attracts them to Lake Resources in our projects. As I said here, we've got some really interesting projects. One we're drilling at the moment at 52,000 hectares in a place called, our project called Kachi in Catamarca at about 3,000 metres. We've got 3 drill rigs on site. They're hammering away. And finally, for all the long-suffering shareholders, the wait is nearly over. We expect to release results and proof of concept of that project in coming days. We are also fortunate enough to have pegged 2 years ago an area adjoining Orocobre's production asset at Olaroz and Lithium Americas project, where they're in a joint venture with Sokimich SQM. We have a ground holding there, runs 11 kilometres in length, right along the boundary of where, well, in fact, Advantage Lithium are fortunately drilling right along our boundary to the point where we had to check to make sure they hadn't jumped the fence, but they're getting some fantastic lithium flows there, high flow rates and great grades. So we're excited about what we have there, and we've also lodged recently a notice of meeting where we will look to exercise an option over some pegmatite areas which cover 150 kilometres in length. And we hold 70,000 hectares of that ground. There has been previous small-scale mining there, but we're optimistic that we will find something similar to maybe 1, 2 or hopefully 10 of the Australian pegmatite producers within that ground. Like I said, I'm going to make forward-looking statements, and if you're going to make them, you may as well make big ones, because this is all about value and scale. I'll just show you something here. There's our capital structure, 300 million shares. It's probably not too bad for Australian, not too good for Canadians. They tend to issue less shares at higher prices. We've got a few out there. We've currently funded. We've got about 4 million in the bank. We've got 2 million coming at the end of August with a fully in-the-money option series. And we've also got some 20-cent options that expire in December, and we're expecting an inflow of around $6 million from those at least. Just to give you an idea of our neighbours, this one makes me feel better, this slide. That's us, that little yellow dot down in the corner over there. Our neighbours, Lithium America, interestingly, were 25 million market cap when we pegged this ground 2 years ago. We finally secured tenure and had an agreement with the Jujuy provincial government on the 1st of March this year. Lithium America have subsequently done a deal with SQM and are moving towards production. Orocobre obviously capped at around 1.5 billion, and we today scraped in at around 30 million at the close of trade, which is interesting. Our view here is that this is a set move. We will drill out these projects to prove up a resource. Once we've got that resource, we will then look to do a development project deal with a partner, an end user. Not someone who just wants to put their foot on the project to stop it being developed. We're looking for partners who want to go into production and who need the lithium. I've just been on the roadshow through North America with Benchmark Minerals talking about lithium supply chain, and from what I'm seeing there and what's becoming evident, we're seeing movement in the prices now, that the much promised increased production from the majors just simply isn't coming through, and the demand from electric vehicles and storage is increasingly higher than people's expectations. So we've got this perfect storm, and we're seeing the lithium ETF price move and all the majors producers starting to move a lot higher in the market, and I think the realisation is that yet again, for another year, the producers haven't been able to just turn on the tap and increase that supply. It's just not possible to do it that quickly. Our timeline heading through to the end of the year, we're drilling now in Argentina on Kachi. We hope to finish that program around August or September, where we move immediately on to drilling our Jujuy project in the Olaroz-Cauchari region. At the same time, we expect to have people on the ground through our pegmatite projects. So we've got 3 rigs turning at the moment. Once we start the news flow on drilling results from Kachi, we expect that to continue right through till we bring out a maiden resource, and we'll also put together an internal scoping study as we look to set up a partnership with a development group. And probably at this stage it will be an end user coming out of either China, India or Korea. So we've had ongoing discussions with all those people. Just to give you an idea, these are big projects. It's hard to tell from this map here, but just to give you an idea, 25 kilometres by 12 kilometres. Drill hole number 1 is 11.5 kilometres from drill hole number 2, and we're drilling at depth across a number of aquifers. We're getting high conductivity and great flow rates. So in terms of a proof of concept, we're waiting on assays, but it's certainly starting to shape up and look very, very exciting because we own that project 100%. In fact, we own all our projects 100%. And that project here at Kachi has never been drilled, so this is a proof of concept play, and it's also never been consolidated into one holding. It's been fragmented, and Steve put it all together into the one project. Here's a few happy snaps of the guys on site. 3 rigs banging away at the moment, lots of news flow to come. Here we are in the Cauchari area. That's 11 kilometres long, that yellow block there. As you can see, there's a few pink dots there. They're the Advantage lithium drill holes. And it's this one there, AAL, down the bottom here, right on our boundary, that we found quite interesting. Great flow rates, great grades, and I'm not technical, but I reckon there's probably similar results on the other side of the yellow line, but we'll find out in hopefully later this year, around August, September, when we start drilling. Currently we're doing environmental work and community consultation in order to get on the ground there as quickly as we can, and very, very keen to get on there and have a crack. That's some of our land holding there. This area here, which is the adjoining Orocobre production and the Lithium Americas, that's 30 kilometres in strike length. So again, big projects, big opportunity, big potential. Then we move to our pegmatites, 150 kilometres in length, 70,000 hectares of tenements, has had previous production on a small scale. And as you can see over to the right there, it outcrops to 10 metres in height. So if you overlay the Pilbara pegmatite areas, this is quite a big area with a lot of potential. So we're excited to look to get stuck into that later in the year. That's everybody's side. Just to give you an idea, Steve Prominent was a global project development manager with Rio Tinto and Western Mining. He also has done corporate finance. He's a technical guy, he's a geologist. He's one of the smartest people I've worked with in a long while. Very impressive on the ground. I've just travelled with him for nearly 3 weeks. Very clever guy, gets on well, speaks Spanish, which is really handy in this jurisdiction, has worked in South America for 20 years, has contacts all over the place, as does Nick Lindsay, who's our other non-executive director. I'm only on the board because I'm tall. I've come out of stockbroking and corporate finance. Nick's actually very, very technical, has developed mines in Argentina, Chile and Peru, and between Nick and Steve, their knowledge of South America is incredible, and we're very well respected and have a great source of contacts and things on the ground. And our guys on the ground, the young guys, the drillers, have all worked with some of the majors, so we've got a great cross-section of and mismatch of people who have all had great experience in South America, and it's all coming together It was slow to start, but the speed is increasing on a daily basis. So thank you very much for your attention.